Folks, we are back. The Breakdown Boys, Sensei, your boy Wade.
Oos.
It has been a very, very long but fun couple of weeks. I just, you know what I'm saying, just to light flex, both the Breakdown Boys have been on the road.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And most recently, we just got done. I was in Dubai, light flex. I was in Dubai, you know what I'm saying, just doing my thing, you know what I mean? And
Been there, done that. You know what I'm saying?
Been there, done that. I was trying to play catch up to Sensei. He's the OG in this shit. But yes, did that, and then we both ended up in Austin, Texas, boy. Austin, Texas. Let me hear your accent. Go ahead.
Austin, Texas.
Oh, Jesus. Never again.
That was rough.
Never again. That sounds like Forrest Gump.
Hey.
So, yeah, we life's like a box of chocolates, Sensei. We just got back, and this card was amazing. Misfits in the zone, X Series number 3. Before we even get into the card, talk to me about Fight Week, man. What were your favorite parts of Fight Week while you were there, and some of the stuff while you weren't there? Just give me your thoughts on this entire Fight Week, man.
I love being at an event and not fighting. It's more fun. I think people can see it in the interviews. They can see it in the content, is having a good time, right? Because you're not getting ready to get in a fight with somebody, right? You don't have to deal with the stress of all of that. The weight cutting, dude, I was grubbing, dude. Chipotle went ham, dude. I was just like, what else? Dude, I think I ended up being like 196 when I left. Like, I put on some weight. I love it. Like last time I had my fight, I lose weight. Now I go and put on weight. I love it.
Bro, I didn't tell you, by the way, but I got your boots. You left your boots in the hotel.
I know. I thought I left them at the conference. I was like, they're gone forever. Don't even care.
No,
dude.
I got them, bro.
Oh, my
I
boy.
brought them back
What's
to
up?
the OC.
Yeah.
So I got them. I forgot to tell you. But yes, it was, honestly, I think the people really saw that, like, the true side of you on camera that I see all the time come out, you know. Not that that's not there all the time, but it gives you more time to just be yourself. Bro, you're pulling pranks on me the first night I'm there.
Yeah, I was locked in. I was so hyped about, like, producing content. I'm back at, like, into, you know, being in the face. It reminded me being in the Faze house and being with the Faze guys on a trip, or you're just thinking of things to do.
The creative side started flowing.
The creative stuff, and being around other YouTubers and creators, and knowing that people are tweeting about stuff and there's things that's going on in a certain community at the time. So that part was, you know, so exciting for me. I had a blast. The open workouts, and then obviously it's fighting. So I'm excited to see people train, hitting pads. Everyone, There's the animosity, right? There's the tempers flaring. There's fighters preparing. I got to meet Bruckner, right? I got to see Kenny again. The training with Daly, right? So it was sick. It was sick to get out there early too, and not just have. I mean, I missed the fights. But to do fight week stuff, to sit down with people and do other things besides just going to watch the fights, you know what I mean, or corner or somebody like with Tommy, it was nice to do that because I've been wanting to do that, man. This is something, you know, I've been talking about. This is what I'm really excited about doing. As you can tell, first time doing it, killed the interviews and then got a killer prank going, bro. I was like, let's go all in, dude. No hesitation. We're doing this. Just committed to
killed it, man. No, you did. You killed the interviews. I really, and I knew you would. I was like, bro, if we just get him out there and get him with the people while I'm doing so the whole plan for the people that didn't know, the idea was have Sensei take over the breakdown side of things while I'm doing the zone work. That way, we are not only just smashing the zone side, the whatever, you know, the interviews on that end, but we're taking over the social game too. The zone and Misfits got to play catch up to us. Boy,
yes,
you understand?
100%. It was dope.
And it was good to see all the fighters had a good reaction, and it was just a great time, man. So yes, we will be doing a lot more of that, absolutely coming up. But then you left and stuff popped off, son.
Dude, I land. I get home. Absolutely. Dude, by the time we got back to the hotel, I pack. By the time I pack, I had like an hour before I had to leave. So I'm like meditating. I'm not sleeping. I'm like, if the body's at rest, at least I'll help a little bit. So I'm just laying down, trying to like just rest as much as I can because I'm tired. Get to the airplane disaster ride. It felt like absolute trash. I get home, hit the couch, boom, wake up. Christian messages me, yo, like with like a 700 O's. I'm like, what happened? I put the phone down. So I was like, what? I was too tired. Then I go to Twitter. That was it, dude. Coffee in your face. Dudes swinging on each other. You're tweeting out, you don't believe what just happened. I was like, what is going on, man? I just woke up from a nap. I get up from the nap, immediately hit my setup, and I was like, you know what? This stuff is crazy. I'm just going to hit record. I'm just going to react to everything half asleep. But yeah.
It was wild.
It
was wild, man. The whole Dylan Dennis and KSI thing, I know everybody wants to know, like, oh, was it staged? Was it? I'll tell you this. Not to me. There was no staging to me. I'm sure that there was, yes, DAZN knew he would be there.
Right.
Because that makes why would he be in Austin, Texas, if not for that? But that was not something that I was told. So as soon as we saw him in the venue, I was like, oh, okay, something's happening here. Now, honestly, you know, myself at Oladipo, we figured, okay, we're going to talk to him. We're going to, you know what I'm saying, they're going to do a back and forth. Again, didn't think I would be taking coffee to the dome piece.
Dude, that coffee, as soon as that had to be, yo, excuse me, give me that coffee.
Yeah, you were on top of it. I saw it, and I didn't think much of it because I was like, okay,
it was
whatever,
ice,
he's got
bro.
coffee.
It's iced coffee, 100% going to throw. It's Dylan Dennis.
Yeah, it's Dennis. I should have known.
That's why he bought it. Why was he's drinking a full coffee in his left hand, bro?
Yeah, it was a venti too. It wasn't like one of the little grandes. He had a full deal. And luckily, I'm just tall enough and my neck's just long enough that regardless if I was ready for it or not, I got in the way. Problem was, I didn't get all the way in the way because I got collided, bro. It was don't bro, just right off my.
Dude, you got shot with the bullet went right through you and still hit the dude, man. Just you took a bullet for nothing, honestly. Like,
nothing. And bro, it wasn't even like when you were there. We were doing the presser. I almost got ran over by Greg Hardy. It's like the whole week I was in the middle of it, dog. Like I was trying.
I would have loved to have been there because that one wasn't. Like on a stage, like I could have been in the mix.
Yeah, you could have
on
like
that one. You know what I mean? I could have been in on this one. Let's go.
Some hands on it,
I would have loved. I was thinking too. I think I would have loved to if Christian was recording to do like a live reaction, like in anticipate. Because I would have 100% like Dylan is about to throw this coffee right now, dude. You better get on that. I would have, you know what I mean? I would have had some. Look at Wade go with the stiff arm, dude. Live,
bro, that was so funny.
Like a live play by play.
It was so fucking funny.
Dude,
but yeah, man,
you snapped on it, dude. You just snapped on it, dude. Just led through the hole, bro. Just recovered. And me after getting hit, just
right back. Yep. Just and we back. You know what I mean? Just a little slip and go. You know.
Which is honestly impressive.
Man, listen.
Honestly impressive, dude.
I didn't even feel it, bro. That's you want to talk about iron chin? My skull made of freaking granite, bro. I couldn't even. I was done. It left a little spot, but no, we were good, man. So that happened, and then obviously we get to fight night. Let's talk about these fights, man.
Oh man.
So, you know, people are calling it one of the best Misfits cards that has ever existed. We're 3 cards in. I don't know if it can outdo one. One was so special because there were so many big fights and it was such a big arena and the, you know, the return of KSI. I don't think it outdoes that. But on paper, and I told you this and we have been telling people for weeks, this is going to be a sleeper card. This is going to be one that really is going to make some noise at the end of the night. So we started, and we'll just go through them quickly. We started with Brandon Buckingham and Ice Poseidon.
Yes.
Give me your thoughts on that one. What'd you think?
I was able to hold pads for Brandon.
For Brandon, right.
During the open workouts because he didn't bring a trainer. So I had no confidence in him when he said he didn't have a trainer to hold for him. But when I started holding for him, I was like, okay, I've seen a little bit of footage on ice, and I'm liking what I see him. He wrestled. He did jiu-jitsu, but he wrestled. And wrestling translates better than jiu-jitsu when it comes to boxing because of closing the gap and the whole shooting concept. So his distance management. And then I was holding the pads and I saw Ice. I was like, I think Brandon's going to do this. But Ice was landing his shots. Ice was landing some shots. But this when it came down to competing from between 2 men and it came to competition and came to combat, Brandon was just more about it than Ice. You know,
he was landing with more force.
The turning of the head, because Brandon got hit and he was like, "Ooh, I'm still here." Where Ice was like, "I don't want any part of this." You know what I mean? Whoa.
And Brandon was swinging bombs at the end. I was like, whoa. Everyone he threw was like, holy. You could even hear me and Slim on commentary going, oh my God. Just missing a couple of them, but he gets the win. I actually skipped over the freaking first fight of the night, and that was Minicon and Knick Knack.
I was going to say,
Patty Whack.
I didn't get a chance to see that one because your boy was too busy winning a AA Harvest Bowl championship.
You do this. This is what you do.
Too busy. I was freezing, but you're too busy getting a dub. But I saw that Minicon one, and I saw a little clip. But can you give me like a quick play-by-play of what happened?
It was. Listen,
I expected Minicon to just.
Yeah, same deal.
Walk right through him.
Nick came out very aggressive for the first 30 seconds. He landed a big shot, got really hyped up, started bouncing up and down, and the first thing I said on commentary was like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna gas. Yeah, like, he's way too excited about landing one shot. It's gonna turn." And that's really what happened. He gassed out. Minicon was able to land some shots, not a lot. I would say this. I thought I was gonna see more from Mini. I thought that Minicon was gonna do a little more, and I think now. For him, it's more about getting technically better, right? Because I love watching him. He's a great entertainer. He's one of the best guys as far as just promo stuff. Like during fight week, he was doing his own interviews. He was killing it. He had the Don King-esque guy with him the whole time, So he does all that well. Now it's about getting technically better because all the other stuff's there, all the intangibles, all the star power, it's there. You need to go and do. He's a big guy, he's a heavyweight. You need to go and put some guys away now, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought. So that means when I saw that there was no highlights, when I didn't see or hear a lot of much or see a lot on Twitter or anything, I thought, oh, maybe it was a little underwhelming.
It was. I think that the Minicon won because Knick Knack Paddywhack got DQ'd for too much laying on him. I'm pretty sure it was the actual like.
Oh wow!
It was a DQ stoppage, yeah, because he was just laying and continually laying, and referee had to warn him, and finally they just were like, all right, we're done. But yeah, Minicon, like I said, a win, another win. Just got to get more technically sound. But really, that's about all I could say about that one. But yeah, Brandon was impressive, and then we had your boy Temper, and God, we've been waiting to talk about this.
Oh my gosh, yes! Dang it, Tommy.
Tell me. So we were with Tommy a little bit this week, and he just came off vacation. No training camp for this one.
Yeah.
And this one, it seemed like it was more about just reestablishing him, right? Reestablishing who he was going to be in this scene and what people like. Oh, let me remind y'all real quick. Yeah, Slim did what he did, but here's who I can be. When I'm focused, when I don't have any kind of issues with Sensei being. Whatever, losing, whatever it was that got him off track in that fight. And, of course, what Slim did as well. But this was a comeback fight for Temper. Give me your thoughts on what happened there.
Well, I will say that Tommy he said yes to the opportunity to fight again. And then, obviously, it just happened to be which happened to be the guy.
He didn't know it would be PJ. Yeah, he didn't know that when he said
yes. Correct. So, that's the guy he had in front of him. And I was like, man, now it makes my win looked... The fact that Tommy just, it was... when I got home, by the way, turned on the stream.
Yeah. Yeah, flexing
there's Tommy
already.
Flexing. I said, oh, no. Oh, boy. I yelled to Alana, I'm like, he knocked him out. I don't even want to see PJ's face, dude. I don't even know what's going on. Right? Thank the Lord that it landed on the jaw.
I know.
And I know, because PJ, he's wet behind the ears. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but striking is not his thing, right? So his defense is not there. And when I saw the footage, because I was hoping that he would just, protect everything down the pipe.
He came out aggressive,
so that he can try to find a way to clinch. Because if you want to try to find a way to clinch, you have to defend straight line strikes so you can get things to come around so that you can get a hook, right, and get a clinch situation or get on the inside. You can't be leaving your head open, And he comes in with a low jab to the body with his chin pop up, and Tommy's just like, huh? Bink, bink,
boom,
bink. And PJ straight back immediately. I was like, oh, no. I was hoping PJ might get something more like a clinch and maybe like a moment, right?
Yeah.
But that was his moment. His only moment was getting knocked down so quick.
2 shots landed. It was... PJ getting touched on the chin and his chin smacking the floor. It was
and he was shocked.
He was like, oh. Yeah, it was a quick one, man, and obviously he was having trouble there. Luckily, he didn't try to keep going because that was just going to keep happening. You watch the slow-mo of him trying to defend himself after throwing it was, like you said, he tried to go jab to the body, and the right hand behind it left him overreaching, over lunging, and he folded. And now, Temper wins that fight. It's a big win, obviously, because he's coming back into the scene. What are you smiling for? What are you smiling for?
Listen. What are you smiling for? Oh, man. Listen, I got to say, I had to message JJ personally and denounce my connection for these guys for at least a little moment because of Tommy's tweet and then his response. And then I saw JJ saw it. And I was like, all right, I got to hop in here and say, I got no part in this. I know that this fight was like kind of like my man-child. Like this is like my fault.
You created both of these guys kind of.
So and then all of a sudden it ends up with that tweet.
So just so the people know what you're talking about, right? The response from Overtflow to the loss is kind of more shocking. I don't know, maybe not even shocking, just more telling as to kind of how he dealt with this than the actual loss itself. So let me see if I can get to it here real quick. I think the first one was I mean, I'm going back, man. There's just so much here.
There is quite a few.
There's a lot about how much he loves Faze Clan. So Temper said, and I quote, Temper said, "That was quicker than my first nut." And let's go ahead and watch what he's talking about. Boom. This is the right hand. Boom. Sit down one time, right? There's the shot. Bang. Boom. I'll show you this real quick so you can see it, Sensei. So there's the shot, right? Big right hand. Bang. Boom. And down goes Overtflow. Now, that's normal, right? That's not a big deal. Everyone takes one on the chin sometimes. It is what it is. It's the response that is quite frankly just shocking to me. So Tommy says, "That was quicker than my first nut." And then Overtflow, out of the fucking rafters, I mean, out of nowhere, follows it up and says, "Man nutted all over me."
Bro, then JJ right underneath that.
Yeah, and then you have KSI underneath it. What are we doing here is my question. Okay, I like PJ a lot, right? I do. And we're just going to go through his Twitter here because the way he handled the loss, some would say is commendable, right? He's making light of it. And that's fine. You want to make light of a situation, that's cool, right? No big deal. But at a certain point, there's a difference between making light of it and having some goddamn self-respect.
I know, dude. It was like complete self-destruction.
Temper had aimbot. Again, he's talking about himself being knocked out.
Yeah, that one is okay, it's a gaming joke.
Right. Honestly, this was so much fun. Thank you. And he's being knocked out. He's mid-punch. So it's like, and the people are just not rocking with it. The people are that's what you do. Dude, you're honestly ass. Like people, he thinks like, and again, I think he thinks it's like, oh, I'll be a part of the joke. Not going his way here.
No.
And then he's talking about all this other stuff here. Very nice, very nice. That's the nutted one. Man nutted all over me.
That one is...
Should just change my name to Faze Punching Bag. Okay? There you go with that. And then he's got a twit longer here. And then, it's the Man in the Arena by Theodore Roosevelt while he's being hugged and caressed by Temper after his hard-fought victory. I guess the whole thing, and then he's got, okay. The whole thing from me is, listen, PJ is, I love the guy so much.
Yeah.
The reaction was a little odd, but, the man is a big fan of Faze Clan, and I'm sure he got his, he got a nice moment there with Temper after the loss. But regardless, let's talk about...
Damn it, PJ. Damn it.
So, regardless, let's talk about what happens next for Temper because, quite frankly, it was what he needed to do there, right?
He did exactly. He did the only thing that he should have done, because, and it was best case for PJ, because if PJ, pissed him off or was hanging around longer, and he landed a shot on his face, because he landed that on the jaw, thankfully, because that would have smashed his nose in.
Oh yeah, that would have crushed him. That was a nice shot from Temper. And there's a lot going forward. Temper has. I mean, listen, Temper right after the fight yesterday was talking about who he wants next. He's talking about Jay Swingler. He's talking about Kenny's a boring fighter. When you see this kind of Temper come back out, what are you thinking? You're like, oh, Tommy's back, or how does that make you kind of think?
Yeah, he wants to go right back into it.
Yeah.
Tommy's a taller guy, you know what I mean?
He wasn't talking like that, you know what I'm saying? Even in the Kenny fight, he wasn't really like...
No, not a lot.
Like that. I mean, it feels like he wants it back now. Like, it's a different mentality, A
lot different. That was his first fight, he's like promoting it here and there. But this one is, he's got a lot to prove now. He got knocked out. He had a loss, and it was a devastating loss against Slim, on short notice. So there's a lot to feel like you need to come back and prove, and you want to grow from that, because after the Kenny fight, he had his first win, but he won. He got the overturn. He was overturned.
Yeah.
He's on cloud 9, right? So now he gets brought back down to earth, so to speak. He has this with PJ. He's supposed to. Now let's get back. Let's get back to tough competition, because the only way he's going to get back to the spot where when he beat Kenny is through tough competition. He knows that Overtflow thing is not going to get him anywhere. So in terms of, or just closer to, it's going to help him because he got the ring rust out, from being in there. But he's got to get back to it, and he's got to compete, and he's got to do well.
Do you think we see Kenny and Temper rematch?
That's I say yes, because of the pool of boxing.
Listen, Kenny had said he'd be down to do the rematch after it was over with, right? Like, I don't think Kenny is in any way afraid of that fight at all. I think for Temper, he's pretty pointed in saying he wants a piece of Jay.
Yeah.
That's where he's going, right? He also said Alex Wasabi. I don't know where that came from, but he was calling out Alex too. So I honestly would like to see that rematch. I think Kenny is probably looking toward Jay as well, so that they're kind of like fighting over who's going to fight Jay Swingler.
Yeah.
But I would honestly rather see them two hit the rematch, because it just makes a lot more sense. It still seems to be bad blood. They were on Twitter today going back and forth talking about how, Temper's ass or Kenny's ass, like both of them just going back and forth. It makes sense.
Yeah,
for the rematch, because it was so controversial the first time, and maybe it wasn't as controversial. I thought Temper, had a clean victory, but Kenny's gotten better since, right?
Right, and then with his controversial win over me, and then he has a knockout victory.
I'm saying, so he's gotten better. So I would like to see that one. So I don't know what's next for Temper. He wants Jay Swingler, maybe Alex Wasabi, but it seems like, could we put it past him to be there in January after, again, a clean victory? He's back in the scene. He's active again. I could see him back in January.
The reason I think it happens is because a fighter may say no, and again, the pool's not big, so they're going to go right to. It's going to be, if something falls through the cracks, they're going to be like, all right, because it's a good fight, Kenny Temper. The promotion's going to try to make that happen. So
it's a fun fight. We haven't seen a ton of rematches yet, and we're probably going to start seeing a lot more, because, like you said, the pool's not the mat. They do in that division. There's a ton of guys, but how many guys are saying yes?
And also, but guys who are going to fight each other. The pool's even smaller.
How many guys are going to say yes? That's the thing. And
right.
Speaking of Kenny, let's go to his fight, man, because he was up next on the card.
Yeah.
Him, DK Money, there was rumblings out there of DK Money being a dark horse here, possibly
Yep.
upsetting the champ. And I didn't buy into it much at all. Sorry. Deadly sick right now.
I'm gonna put on a mask.
I didn't hold on. I didn't buy into it much at all, because I had known that DK Money had been training for a while. I knew who he was with, but you could see the difference in skill just in the way they fought. And what makes Kenny good is what somebody like DK is going to struggle with: a good, strategic, technical boxer that can work off his jab, and someone that's not going to get in a back and forth swing fest with him. Kenny's never shown that where he's just going to stand there. He did a bit in the temper fight because he kind of had to. But even in your fight, Kenny had shown a better understanding of where his strengths lied.
Right.
And, man, he again, it's so hard to tell because this was such a short fight. But just in the little exchange that we did get, and we'll watch it back here again just so we can see.
DK had a little bit of a moment where I think he might have landed something and he was trying to press.
He started
forward.
out with a flurry, and the flurry ended with DK doing that kind of choppy left hand like this down, and I was like, okay,
it's not going to.
It's not going to go very much longer.
The reactions
this was basically
were too big, but Kenny figured him out. Since he's oh man,
boom around the guard, nice shot,
beautiful
and then out of the way, had the wherewithal.
Yep.
And then boom,
straight down the pocket.
Nasty.
He knew
Look
he had
the accuracy on it too.
He knew he had him hurt.
Bang. A moving target. Boom. He's tried to stick it on the chin. DK ducked right into it. Bang.
Yep.
It's a good shot, man. Solid shot from Kenny, man. And listen, he's getting better, Sensei. He's getting better quickly, And this is a guy, too, that we keep talking about.
I'm not going to lie. I think he had this potential in our fight. It's just that I heard him early, in the first couple seconds.
Yep.
So it was, and I had that approach where it's like, whatever you throw something for real, I'm going to make you pay for it. So he wasn't able to throw any power shots. He had to try to just maintain distance and jab, and then we kind of played that whole counter game. So he didn't get a chance to showcase what I knew he could, because I felt him in the ring. I got a sense for it. And we were playing that like was it Mike Perry when he's like, you go, feint, you go. We got into that thing where I was like, come on, go, but he didn't want to pull the trigger. But I knew there was more in there. And I talked to Daly about it, and I was like, I know that you had said you wanted a fight to showcase his skills, and I was like, this is not the fight with me. Is not going to be the fight for that, because defensively, since I have more experience, it's going to be hard for me to get hit. It's going to be hard for him to land offense. It's going to be very difficult to get me to run into something, unless I just feel like I want to. The only time I actually got hit is when I was like, let me just go in there because nothing was happening. Like the end of the fight. And there was a point when he like grabbed my head and caught me with an uppercut, and that was funny. I talked about it in a video before where I said that was the only time where I almost switched. Never in a fight do I ever felt like I
you start kicking,
because I'm like an MMA guy, and as soon as he hooked me, I was like, this is not a part of the rules. Like I'm very specific on rule sets, because if you just go flow, I know I'm boxing, so I get into the boxer mode. So when I got hooked and hit like a clinch, I was like, this is not boxing, so you better keep it boxing, buddy. You know what I mean? So you don't feel like get a double leg real quick. But I could sense that was there.
Yeah, 100%.
And I was able to negate it, but I'm like, oh man, if he's able to be in there with someone that doesn't do that,
opens up a little
bit,
and
he feels confident. That's why, with DK, I was like, DK's got to go in there, and you can't let him breathe, because as soon as Kenny starts downloading, he has a good IQ. As soon as he starts downloading, his time is going to be there. He's going to be on the outside. He's going to make you run into something, and that's all she wrote. And I think Kenny's going to be a tough.
I'm telling you, he's getting better quietly, quickly, and they have a chip on their shoulder, which makes it even more interesting to watch his story unfold, because him and Daly, they know that people look at them and those two controversial decisions and think, oh, Kenny can't do this. It's all about, he's just a jab merchant, whatever. Right. And they held on to that, and I know that because Daly, after the fight was over, walked over to commentary, and I thought he was getting in Slim's face, but it was Yusuf behind him. Fuzi was behind him, and Fuzi had said DK was, he's a dark horse, and he might come out and steal this thing. And Daly, you can tell he hears everything. It's just like the Michael Jordan shit.
Yeah.
He looked at Fuzi and said, "Tell the truth, talk the truth. Don't give me that shit." I was like, "Jeez, buddy."
And honestly,
that's what they need to do.
I blame Daly, to be honest, because I blame Daly for the fact that Kenny, because he got Kenny's two fights were temper, and then me.
But that's a good thing, man. It really is.
I think it's a good thing for his progression for
the future of
as
him,
a boxer.
So,
but in terms of like the fans
at him.
looking at him and not wondering what he can do or underestimating him. It's gonna come. It's gonna come because you gave him very challenging bouts, and most people, their first fight is not like that, right? They're able to showcase their skills, especially if they're like a big name YouTuber, unless they go right away into somebody. So we know what it is, right? Because we have combat sports experience and we understand that what we see. But I'm like, it's now this was the perfect fight. This is like DK's almost could have been the second fight and then me after in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
DK should have been, like, he should have been the first fight.
Correct.
Then Tommy. Then,
right.
Yeah. But I like it for him. It's
doing his thing.
It's a good, it's a good measuring stick to say, okay, now people know. And this is why Kenny is not going to get, it's going to be tough for him to get fights, and this is what we've been talking about. Guys are going to have to start stepping up and fighting because now they see that on top of the fact that how he fought you and how he fought Temper. They're like, this guy.
Yeah.
So that's the next question I have for you. What's next for him? Is it going to be, is it like, because Jay doesn't seem like he wants a part of either of them right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know who he goes with. Is it Slim?
Dude, that would be, oh man, I would love
that fight, but I think Slim's going to try to wait on Gibb and make that fight, So that's why I say Temper is right there.
Yeah,
it makes sense to run it back.
Temper or Slim, or he can go to, he can see if
Gibb, if Gibb doesn't want to do.
See if Bruckner wants to come down.
Woo! If Bruckner came down to 70, whoa, buddy, that would be fun. That'd be a fun one.
I think tough. I think Kenny has what it takes. He's had challenging fights.
Agree.
It's not like he's been tested.
Yeah.
No one tested him more than I did with what I hit him with. So
like we talk about Gibb and we talk about Slim as being kind of the guys at 70, but Kenny is the guy that you better watch because the more experience he gets, this dude is gonna be tough to get out. Like he's just gonna be tough to deal with. Like, wait, imagine when Kenny has the experience of Slim and Gibb.
Yeah.
How he's going to be.
Yeah.
It's going to be so hard to get him out of there. It's going to be so hard to deal with that jab and the added tools in his tool belt that he's going to have at that point. Bro, he might be the pinnacle at 70 because he's getting into this game so late and he's already so much better than guys were at this point in their own careers. So, we'll see, man. We'll see. I'm not saying he's the guy because we don't know yet. They're gonna have to work that out. But Kenny looked good, man. He looked really good. The cowboy hat did him justice too, man. And then we had the heavyweights, brother. And I want to say something before we even get into this. You called this 2AT.
Dude, we were talking about it then the night before weigh-ins when I was about to leave in the hotel. I was like, hello.
Yep. And you had me convinced at that point. I was like, "Oh, bro, I've picked wrong here." And dude, you were right.
Yeah.
I just want to show you one thing. I want to show you this.
Yeah.
This was the end of round one where I thought, okay, this is where Rahman Jr. is going to start raining down on Greg Hardy. This is Greg Hardy, Rahman Jr. Round one, the end of the round. Nothing had really happened yet. Hear the 10 seconds, boom, big left hand, boom, through the guard. Boom. Big shots, right? But Hardy's just not leaving. Another nice one, uppercut, left hook. And I thought, okay, this is the turning point, right? This is where things are going to start changing. Boom, 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 right? And this was Rock's round. That exchange, Sensei, was the last exchange that Rahman won the entirety of the fight.
Yeah.
That was it.
He woke him up, and he said at the end he woke him up.
Yeah, because from that point on, you had this behemoth of a human, Greg Hardy, doing stuff like this at 320 pounds.
That's all he needed to do.
Which is baffling.
Which is just pick his hand up. That's all he wasn't doing.
Baffling. Watch this right hand. What is that?
Dude.
For a right hand, what is that?
And he just caught.
No one teaches that. No one teaches this at all.
Caught his overhand.
Catch, boom.
Bang.
And hit Rahman so hard. He's like, you can tell he's like, Jesus Christ, what was that?
Yeah, dude, you're fighting in a weight class above against somebody who's 100 pounds heavier.
100 pounds bigger.
Here's the thing. People are now saying, and I told you they were going to say this after. I was like, but they knew this going into it. Look at that.
Look at this left hand from Rock, though. Bang.
Yep.
I think anybody that's not 320, that one wobbles him.
Oh, of course. I mean, he was wobbled. But he's like, yep, what's up? I'm 300
right
pounds.
Back at it, man.
Ducking.
Yeah, you're right. The people were saying at the end of this, look at Logan and KSI.
Yeah.
At the end of this, they were saying what we were saying beforehand. This is a mismatch on paper as far as the weight and just the athleticism and the freak ability of Greg Hardy.
You can't use it after the fact because we already knew.
Yeah.
Like we know what it is, and that's why I was like, and the way he moved. You know, there was that moment in, I don't know what round it was, where he went, you heard his feet on the canvas like it was a WWE match. When he goes, do. I said, I was watching it with my brother and his girlfriend and my fiance, and I was telling him about, like, listen, Greg Hardy, I did not expect this. I did not expect this slow pace. This is not the athlete I'm talking about. This guy's a Pro Bowl defensive end. This dude can move, and if he can at some point turn and fight like that, this fight's going to be over because Hasim is fighting at his pace right now. Hardy was fighting at Hasim's pace. Yeah. That's why he was getting caught. And then he decided, he got pissed and just started stampeded across, and then it was over since then. He fought at a different speed. Then he started catching, shooting. He started moving.
That was crazy to me.
The footwork.
That he was able to that he was able to implement not just the speed, the athleticism, the ability, but pure boxing technicality, catching and shooting, being able to anticipate shots, begging him, fainting out, like showing him his chin, like, come hit me.
I thought we were going to see that guy. I know. I thought we were going to see that guy
early
from the beginning, and I'm like, and I think if he did feel like that, that's what would have happened. I think it would have been a wrap early. I don't know how people didn't see it. I don't think, maybe they just don't know Greg Hardy.
Yeah,
there was a lot of disrespect in terms of like, and for his ability. I'm like, this guy went from being in the NFL to going to the UFC, right to the top, dude. Very fast.
Brock Lesnar levels of freakish athletic ability.
Correct. And by the way, not doing it with wrestling skill, but doing it with like he should have went to become a boxer instead of going into MMA.
Yeah, honestly.
Because he could have easily transitioned. And people thought, oh, he does MMA. Or Hasim was saying, oh, he's a football player. I'm like, that's how, bro, he hasn't been a football player for a while now.
Yeah. He can crack, dude.
I just don't understand. I don't know how you go from Vitor to Greg Hardy.
The decision making there was a lack of understanding of who Greg Hardy was, 100%. It had to have been.
They thought he was just going to be 300 pounds just slumping around. Did they not see the explosiveness?
And you know, respect to Rock for even getting in there. I think after the fact, you have to respect it more because you're like, man, you didn't know maybe, and that's part of the ignorance of not knowing Greg Hardy, but that you went through it anyway. You landed some shots, you know, fuck me. I don't know who else is stepping in with that kind of guy at that level. And again, maybe it was ignorance that got him to step in, but it was heart that carried him through it. So fair play, man. Rock is a tough dude. He was talking about going down to cruiserweight, which I think is pretty interesting.
Yeah, fight at your best, man.
I think it would be good. It'd be good for him because I had heard, and I'm not going to say who told me, that he was close to 205 pounds because that's, you know, the fight with Vitor was going to be around that. When he was in camp with JJ, and you know they had him in crazy good shape, and then he got back up to 220. But if he was already around that weight training for Vitor, then you know, let's see.
Let's do
that.
See
what it looks like.
Let's no more fighting Greg Hardy.
Yeah, no more 100+ pounds given up there. But congrats to Greg. What do we say about Greg Hardy? What does he do next?
Dude, he should be he has a real potential. Hasim is a real fighter. Okay, we're not
12-1. 12-1.
Not a crossover boxer.
Yeah,
he is a boxer.
Yeah,
12-1, and Hardy has a lot of potential. Obviously, he's still, you know, the defensive thing and his lack of awareness to see that Hasim was setting him up and trying to set traps, and he's just standing there in front of him like that.
Yeah,
you know. But when you see Hardy doing his best out there,
looks fucking good.
How many guys are that size? I could obviously punching ability, one thing, but his raw ability to punch, he has that George Foreman late older but with feet and footwork and explosiveness.
Yeah, explosivity. Yeah.
We don't see guys at that size move like that.
Not moving like that. Someone said him in the mountain, Titan weight. Throw that on there.
Oh,
him and Thor Bjornsson. I'd be down with that.
Greg Hardy's probably knocking him out.
I mean, listen, Thor does get caught. He got caught a ton by Eddie Hall, 5'11" Eddie Hall.
And the speed difference, man.
I'm saying. Yeah, I'd love to see that. We'll see what happens with Greg Hardy next. But then we had your favorite fight on the evening. Chase Demoor and Josh Bruckner, and we might make our own video on this. So we're gonna see if this is the start of a new video or possibly keeping it a part of the other one. But let's talk about Chase Demoor and Josh Bruckner here. So obviously you were not in attendance.
No,
you're at home watching this one, and as the fight was getting started, it was what we kind of said all week, right? Chase had to make this thing a little ugly.
Yep.
Had to use his size, had to use his frame, and quite frankly, just had to try to make Josh uncomfortable in his return because the boxing skill was not going to be there from Chase.
And he was doing a good job of it, I must say.
Yeah, listen, for what it's worth, Chase didn't take a bunch of big shots in this fight.
No.
Like, you go back through it, and he was having a real hard time, Josh was, actually getting to Chase.
Correct.
And I said that on commentary, one of the things that was so hard here is that no one was going to come out of it looking good. Chase didn't come out of it looking great as a boxer, as any kind of fight ability, anything like that, or his ability to comprehend mentally what he was saying on Twitter. That didn't look great. But also, Josh couldn't look good here, right? Because and you have to give some credit to Chase because he is such a big guy, and regardless if he was trying to or not, he was avoiding shots pretty well. And again, it was Josh's tough time trying to hit him that made this kind of a stinker a bit.
Yeah.
But it did show us a couple things. One, that Josh is obviously still one of the guys that's more dangerous in this scene.
Yeah.
And him going in with what Chase was 50, 55 pounds
yeah,
bigger.
I was going to say, Chase is a big dude, and those shots are not like slumping. They're ripping across.
Yeah.
Regardless of technique, those things are going to hurt.
Yeah, Josh was showing some really cool techniques. At one point, he was tossing in some nice like corkscrew uppercuts to backhands, to changing angles and being able to work off that. It was again a showcase. Josh was trying to showcase some of that stuff, and Chase was just a hard dude to move around. He was just a body there, and just could not really do much with him,
And I talked about it with Josh on the open workout day. I was like, bro, feint. Do not get in a scuffle with this dude because he's big and he's strong, and he doesn't think technically in terms as a boxer. So those guys are dangerous because he's just going to swing. So when you don't expect him to punch, he's going to punch from different angles, and that's when you can get caught because you're just so used to a certain type of flow. Especially if you're training with martial artists a lot, that can work against you. And like Josh even mentioned, is like his jab would like hit my arm, and I would get pushed across the ring because he's so big,
he's heavy.
And I saw Josh like just entering with strikes and get to close the gap and then throwing stuff. And Chase would kind of just lean back and chuck back his. And I'm like, no, Josh, no. I was like, feint. I was like, and I told him, I was like, go second, bro. Feint and go second. It's going to be there. And then obviously we saw the clip that went viral, which came from a feint though. That's the thing. Like people were watching it too. I don't know how much realize it. Chase wasn't just moving. It wasn't like Josh threw a punch. That was Josh doing a feint to get a reaction. And Chase, without that kind of experience, those feints threw him off because he's not used to dealing with that, right? He was just trading with somebody, probably just being in scuffles. So you get that huge reaction, right, from Chase, and Josh kind of chuckles there. And then you see him be a little bit more technical and try to feint his way in to set up the bigger shots and try to figure out how to close that gap. But yeah, that was a wild one. There was times where I was a little worried. I was worried for Josh.
Listen, there were times where Chase started coming forward with that big frame, and you're like, oh God, is he going to land something? And we were on commentary saying, hold on a second, just he could be dangerous here. And it's not, you don't expect a guy like Chase to have great technique yet, right? It's his second fight. But yeah, there were points where you saw the difference in skill. And this was, again, it was a tough fight for Josh to look good because I'll show you. There's one sequence here where Chase comes forward with some malice, and you're like, hold on a second, this could be dangerous. This guy could really hurt somebody. Had he known what to do here, just any technical ability, right? So he has Josh on his back foot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember this.
There's a little bit there.
At the end too, that little right hook.
Yeah, and that's the start of the fight. So I was like, hold on a second,
He's fast. He's aggressive.
Fast, aggressive, big body. Problem was he had a hard time controlling it. He had a hard time staying there. But that's, like I said, the fight was what it was, But that was not the most interesting thing to happen between Chase Demoor and one Faze Sensei. So here, let's do this. Let's start with the origin story here. So after the fight was over, people got hold of the oh, hello. Hold on.
What's going on over here?
Sorry, I had to
Leon.
shout out Lauren.
That's long.
They got a hold of the video you talked about with Chase looking like he was fighting off someone in nightmares. But this is exactly what we were talking about here. So it was Leon basically starting it out by saying, "Why does Chase fight like my sister?" And so a lot of people obviously talking about the same thing. Here's the clip that everyone is referring to. That's the one right there.
Yep.
And again, it's just a feint from Josh, that makes all this happen. And again, it's silly and it's funny. And obviously,
he was gassed.
Chase is inexperienced,
and he was
gassed. Yes. And he admits that. Like, Chase knows he was gassed.
Yep.
And that's fine. Now, again, this is Twitter, so people let me just remind you, it's Twitter.
Literally.
We're having a good laugh, and you jump in on the action and say, "Don't disrespect your sister like that."
Yeah, I was like,
grade A tweet, and it's referenced by the likes. Grade A. Yes. I mean, you can't fake that. That is good humor, good comedy. Everyone, if you said something like that to me, I'd have a laugh. And that's funny to me, even if it was me that was in there. Chase didn't have a laugh.
Nope.
He took that very personally, Michael Jordan style. So Chase, who is, I guess, the king here, as he says in his snowboard goggles as he walks around.
Okay.
He came after you here. He said, let me see if I can find the tweet. Basically, he said something about Lil Man. So let me go to it real quick.
Yeah, it's like in this thread or something.
Is it in? I don't remember where it was. You never responded to it, so I'm gonna try to find it.
No. We'll be chatting.
Yeah. He said the "we'll be chatting" thing, but I wanted to see he said Lil Man. When I get to that, where's the Lil Man stuff? Oh, here we go. So you said, "Don't disrespect your sister like that." He said, "Bro, watch your mouth. Let's be honest. When you got dropped by King Kenny in 2 seconds, laugh face.
Whoa.
Let's not forget, I'm not the one that got knocked out. I got hit in the back of the head and was gassed. If you got anything else to say, I'll gladly come beat your ass."
Damn, bars.
I mean, straight heat. Now, I will say there's a bit wrong. Well, there's a lot wrong with this tweet. Almost everything. One, you didn't get dropped by King Kenny.
I know.
That didn't happen. And it wasn't 2 seconds. He keeps referring, I'm not the one that got knocked out. You haven't been knocked out.
I know.
So, yeah, I don't know what that is. The guy hit behind the head and got gassed. Okay, fair play.
He clearly thinks his temper was slim.
I think, he thinks you're you're like Faze Slim at this point.
Yeah,
your Faze Sin Slim. Like you're a combination of Faze Sensei, Faze Temper, and Slim. I don't know who he thought you were, but this tweet was, I think, edited as well. Yes, so there might have been a cheeky edit.
He originally said when you got dropped by Slim. And somebody said it wasn't Slim. So then he just switched it to Kenny and didn't change any other part of it. Like someone told him that wasn't me. And then he's like, all he did was switch the names from Slim to King Kenny. Like it doesn't work that way.
And listen, when the fight was stopped, this is someone hit him with a get back tweet real quick. He said, "Josh never hit you in the back of the head since he didn't get KO'd. You were gassed because you most likely didn't train. No improvement from your last fight. You were seeing 3 and your eyes were barely open, so you basically were KO'd since they destroyed you."
Oh my god!
Now, I can confirm number 4 here because, and this is the reason that I was glad the fight was actually stopped. I started to be concerned a bit for Chase because I had my headphones on, right?
Yep.
I'm on commentary. What I like to do, you know this from working commentary with me, is take one of my headphones off to hear the corners. Because I think it's such a big part of what the people at home are hearing, unless they're hearing both corners during the rounds, which sometimes they are. for this one, they weren't hearing Chase's corner. Chase said to his corner, I'm seeing 3. I'm seeing 3. That made me go, okay.
Yeah, dude.
We got to stop this. You know,
you
and
can't
they did
mess around
too.
with that.
So that happened. I was there to hear it. But yeah, but that's not where it ended, bro. We thought, that's the end of the Twitter beef, you know, and you didn't respond like a true gentleman. You're like, you know what?
I was like, what do you respond? That's like everyone else responded. I'm like, what is that? How am I going to respond to this? Do I have to explain to him I didn't get knocked out by King Kenny? Like, there's no one no one thinks that.
So his buddy here, Daniel Perfecto. Listen, the man looks like, you know, Mr. Perfect. I can't lie. I mean, look at the face, the chisel, the perm.
Said he was.
Is this him in a wig? Who is this? Okay, I don't know. It looks like the same person. He said he was going to
take my mom and my girl.
Oh, he said he's going to take your mom. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I did. I was like, okay.
I did not see that he was taking moms and girls. I got to see that tweet. Hold on. I mean, he's got a massive following that he's talking to in his Netflix series, you know, so he had to make sure the people got the message here.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, he's, you know, verified. Wait, let me just real quick see something. Oh, it's Twitter. Okay, never mind. Just wondered. I didn't know if he got verified through, you know, he paid for the verification, so that makes sense.
Okay, so the Twitter Blue thing is the paid verification?
Yeah, the Twitter Blue, you know, obviously you didn't have to pay for that because, you know what I'm saying, people rock with you, know who you are.
I was wondering.
So I didn't see the part where he said he would
yeah, I don't know.
Take your girl, but
yeah,
he did say this. He did say let me get back to it. It's Faze Sensei, with all due respect, man, I know you had a tough life being this ugly. Now, listen, if it's me looking at this picture, you listen. I'll let the people comment down below. You kind of cute, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Kind of cute, bro. And why did he took like a zoomed in, pixelated? This is your profile. This is your avatar. Your profile. But he like zoom. That's the only picture he could find. He zoomed in on the profile picture. You know, it's not a bad one.
And commenting on my looks is kind of weird. It's kind of interesting, you know.
Yeah, it's a weird first go to, you know.
Right, initially.
It's an initial weirdo look, but he says he's going to get into the influencer boxing scene. It's crazy, and he's going to be in the ring, and he will knock out most, not all, but he'll knock out most of them. And that's a promise to God. So God, if you're watching, whoa. Daniel Perfetto and his IG and Netflix following is going to be knocking out most.
Hey, maybe he got some skills. We just don't know. You know what I mean?
Hey, we'll have to see, man. And apparently they're going to show you those skills in person because I can't find the tweet, but they said, oh, here it is. We'll be chatting the next time I see your ugly mug, bro.
Yeah, then he said somewhere, he's like, it's on site.
Yeah, they're on site. They want to see you in person.
And I was like, sir, that you're inciting a crime. You're going to go to
that's
jail.
Assault. No, listen, hey, you know.
Charleston White. Christian, throw Charleston White up on here. That's me.
Yeah, the Charleston White shit.
Letting the police know right now, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, in all seriousness, this was meant to be like. By the way, coming after Faze Sensei, one, when it was the entirety of the internet giving some troll jobs to Chase there, and two, when I think he might have mistaked you for someone else.
Correct. He thought it was
I didn't understand that, but I'm shocked, to be honest. I'm shocked that the ego of these two guys is that big. That's what I'm shocked at. Because like you've said this, I was a college football guy. You played football. We've been in locker rooms. We've had people rag on us. It's a little bit of a like I said, a shocker to say you're that hurt. And I get it. It was after a loss.
Correct.
It's tough. You know, you're in that moment. But hey, man, to each their own. However you handle it, however you handle it, I guess.
Like the amount of trash talk that just happened in my game last Saturday.
Yeah, right. I mean, how many people
between teammates, let alone other team, dude? Coaches.
How many people after your loss to Kenny, you know, were out there saying, Sensei, why didn't you do this? Sensei, you had, you know, whatever, you know?
It's on site.
Yeah, like on site.
Maybe they're just having fun with it. I don't know.
I would assume so. Maybe we're getting trolled out of our minds,
Yeah, probably are, to be honest.
If we are, then fair play. They got
fair play. They got us.
That's a good troll, man.
They got us. Between them and PJ.
And that's the thing, too. I talked to Chase during fight week. I was like, hey, man, you're doing a great job with the promo. Great work, whatever. Because he was doing a great job with him, between him and Josh. So it is what it is, man. Hopefully we get to see Chase in there again. I do want to see him, and he's a big, strong kid. See what he's got. But that was a very odd interaction after that whole thing. But let's wrap up with the main event of the evening.
Called it. Just saying.
Yes.
Called it.
It was, you called this.
Oh, by the way, who won? Who got who? Did we do predictions here?
Yeah, I think you won. Well, hold on a second.
I don't know. Minicon.
You picked
Minicon.
We both picked Minicon. We both picked Josh. We both picked Kenny. Yep. I think you picked Kenny by knockout, though, so fair play. We both picked Brandon.
Yes.
And then I think the only thing we differed on was Greg and Rock, because we both picked Dean, too.
What about Temper? Did you pick Overt? Or?
Yeah, did I pick Overt?
Trying to get you
So
there.
I think the only thing so predictions, again, I know the community is always frustrated with me because I never have done a punishment, but
yeah, your boys racking up the dubs over here.
I know, I got to do two now. We'll do this. Whatever the punishment's going to be, we'll announce this now, and we'll probably keep announcing it. We're going to do a live stream on December 11th on the Breakdown channel right here with you guys, and we will be watching our watch party for chess boxing. Ludwig's chess boxing. We didn't get invited, unfortunately, but we'll be doing a watch party for it, and I'll do predictions for that as well as punishments on live stream. So I got 2 to do. Comment section, let us know. But yes, we have now arrived at the main event.
Yes.
And Wallet Sharks versus Dean the Great. We thought this was going to be a banger going into it, and it absolutely delivered, man. Just give me your
100%.
thoughts on what happened here.
Incredible fight. The back and forth. We saw main event in influencer boxing, but with really good boxing.
Yeah.
Like technique. It's what this community needs. It's what we thought it could be. We talked about it. You got guys in there who are supposed to be influencers, right? They're crossover boxers, develop a name for themselves. But they're sharp. You're like, ooh, it's hard to tell if I'm watching this. The lines kind of get blurred between pro boxer and influencer now.
Yeah.
Like these guys.
And we said this was coming, man.
Yep.
We said this was coming down the line. And this was the start of it. Like, look here. We watch Dean, this is the start of the second round here. Although there probably should have been a knockdown counted in the first.
100%.
For Waleed.
Yep.
Here was the second. Bang!
Oof.
That left hook, man, off the right hand. He slips that jab, comes back, big right hand, boom! That left one puts him down as well. And he started talking, and this was the point when on commentary I went, "Oh, buddy, this kid Waleed Sharks is for real."
Yep. And Dean hasn't seen anybody. He doesn't have the experience. He doesn't have the same amateur experience, so he didn't get a chance to go in there with fights with guys at this caliber. But like I said, I was like, I don't know, man. Dean is talented.
Boom.
Walks into shots. Clinch is smart here. Still getting rocked. I was really nervous here. I'm like, this is my
I thought this was the beginning of the end because look at the pressure from Waleed. And again, it's technical. He the whole thing, the entirety of this fight was Waleed was getting to the shots first. He was at the point where he was dictating pace. And off his jab was setting things up. Look at that jab, right hand, put him down again.
Yep, that was kind of knocked down.
That was counted because
I was nervous, but the reason of my prediction, because Dean is talented and he shines in the biggest moments. Like
bang bang.
He seems like a guy who loves the lights. He loves the moment. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he only had one fight, but he loves the moment. He did the street fighting thing. He likes all this, and I'm like, man, he just has that X factor. He just has an X factor to him. And then he just so happened to freaking detonate a bomb.
Yeah, he ripped it. Now, at the second round, that was the point where you're like, okay, Waleed's going to take over this fight. This is the end of this thing. It's over. And I don't know who in their right mind thought, oh, yeah, Dean's going to come back and win this at this point. Like, I thought on commentary, he's been, in the first and second round, he's been outworked. He's been outlanded. He's been out-techniqued the entirety of the fight. This thing's over. It's just a matter of when, not if.
I thought, part of me, the reason of my prediction, I didn't expect him to get knocked down. So that obviously really worried me when I saw that, and that I lost my confidence there. But I did say, if I can remember correctly, that Dean seemed more willing to throw power shots. And a lot of times when we see lighter guys, you see a lot of technical shots from Waleed, quick, everything's in tight, quick shots, but ones that'll drop you or catch you, right, and put you down, but you get right back up. Right? And Dean's the type of guy who's going to sit and rip, and he want a little bit of like Gervonta Davis, like a little tank in him where he wants to really commit behind those punches to land something that's powerful.
And I think that's where he gets that's where is it's like you're playing with fire because it works and he lands a big one, but when it doesn't, he gets caught.
Yep.
And that's where Waleed, the entirety of this fight was leading the dance as far as like who was winning those exchanges, who was initiating, and who was, like I said, getting to the spot first. The one time he didn't get to the spot first was right here.
That's all it takes.
And Dean comes forward. They both throw the same shot here. They throw the same shot right here. Boom. Right hand.
Oh.
On the button.
Dude,
right? Look, both guys go to throw right hands, and Dean just gets that first.
Look at that commitment from Dean. Look at the commitment. Just
heavy.
He sees the punch coming, but you see how, for example, Waleed tries to throw just like a short right.
Short right hand.
Yeah. Short right technical thing, and Dean's like, nah, fully. And this is like kind of what I thought the story was. Waleed was going to be super technical, try to land his shots, but Dean may say, and his back is against the wall. He knows he's down. He's still smiling in this fight. And then he's willing to try to put you out with one shot and not be so technical and perfect. And he just has that.
That little level change before he throws his right hand really lets him get there quick. Yeah. Just boom, right there.
To load the power into that thing.
Boom. Now, give me your thoughts on this. You see Waleed on the ground here. There's a shove here from Dean.
This is why he deserves the rematch.
Yeah, that right there is 100%.
Without that, I do not think it deserves an immediate rematch because you got knocked out.
Yeah, because I think. Do you think if this shove doesn't happen, that Waleed gets back to his feet quicker and he's okay?
100%. Because if you look, you mentioned it too, the count looks right. He's already on one knee.
Look at the two different counts. Here's a 2 count.
Yep.
And this referee is going 1.
But regardless,
referee says this is going to be 3 next. This is going to be 2. Right.
So now he would be on one knee.
Right.
So he's on one knee. He would just get right back up. So now that look at this, that's a big fall. Dude. He falls all the way.
Yeah,
he falls all the way to his back. And the ref's still counting, which is really, he just misses that completely.
Yeah.
Falls to his back, then has to adjust. He's sitting now. Has to get to his feet like this. He's not on one knee, right? Okay, get to my feet.
Here's the part where everything goes wrong for Waleed.
Yep,
if he gets to his feet, gives the gloves up and says, okay, let's go again, he's fine. And honestly, when I watched him after this, I'm sure that he was rocked, no doubt about it. But there's a difference between being rocked and being out of the fight.
No, he was down on one knee with his bearings. He wasn't like stumbling or face down type thing.
Right. Like he was rocked here, no doubt about it. He's still trying to gather stuff in his head, but Dean was rocked after that shot that we saw, the left hook. He was rocked, but he had the wherewithal to face the referee and say, okay, walk forward, go over here, and gather his bearings a little bit enough to be in the fight. When you're doing this, and this is just inexperiences on Waleed's part, when you do this and you just walk in your corner, put your arms down, droop your head, this is not something you can do. Even if it's not even that bad, you just can't do it.
Let me ask you a question. A part of me thought, did he think that he deserved time because he was pushed?
That's not a bad question to ask, man. Because it doesn't look like...
He boxed before. Why would you turn your back and put... This makes no sense. The only way this makes sense is if he gets pushed and he thinks it's like, oh, you're going to get your time. Because why go and put your hands on the ropes?
That's the thing, is he clearly sees this referee counting in his face.
Yeah, I know.
He clearly sees that.
Yeah, he does. Yep, and then he gets up.
And he gets to his feet. Away. And he walks... kind of stagger-like to his corner. He's hurt, no doubt about it. But you see this referee's hand tapping him, saying, turn around, right? You see that. tapping him on his side. This is what you just can't do. And you can hear it here. I'll put the commentary on. You'll hear me start screaming. He's got to turn around here. So he's got to turn around. He's got to turn around.
Yeah, you knew he was going to call it right away. Then he's like confused. It's like, man, but it's really.
You just can't have that happen, man. And then he's confused. He's like, what do you mean? But if you're Waleed there, you turn your back on that referee as he's tapping you, saying, hey, show me, turn around, I need to see you. And you don't give him that, he has no other option to say this guy's unresponsive. I don't know what his face looks like behind there. So as he does turn around and you still got that kind of look on your face, he's going to wave it off. Like, it's going to happen. So,
but he deserves a rematch for that push.
Yeah, I agree with you that push warrants a rematch. And it's not Dean's fault. You know, I can't say, oh, that's dirty, whatever. It's in the moment. I get it. You know, you just have a big knockdown after you've been knocked down twice.
He's pushing off the ground right here.
Yeah, he's here, and looks like he's going to try to stand up on that back foot.
Yep.
Right before he gets pushed, it's like he's leaning back to stand up, and then Dean gives him the old shovaroo, puts him back there. So that definitely cost him a couple seconds. This is why I do think we need that rematch. It's unfortunate because it was a great shot from Dean.
I know.
A fucking hammer.
Bomb.
And again, it's not. We may not get the rematch, but this is what causes the controversy, right? Because of the fact that he gave him that shove down there, and that's another thing that Dean has a little bit of an experience with. He did the same thing to Evil Hero.
Yep.
I don't know if it was a shove or a punch, but there was, you know,
I think it was like a punch or something.
He didn't have the wherewithal wasn't there to be like, okay, I need to back off now. This is, separate. And that comes from the experience of the sport, being in between the ropes and doing it, street whatever. So it's a learning experience for Dean. I mean, it didn't matter. He wins the fight either way. But this is why, in my opinion, we absolutely need that rematch. It's such a fun fight, man. And I know that Dean and them may not want to do that right away because, fuck, that was a tough fight.
Yeah.
But listen, you hold the belts now. Champions got to take on all challengers. You know what I'm saying?
And speaking of controversy, dude, I've been on this word ever since. Who is your right hand man there? Your co-commentator? What's his name?
Jesus, hold on.
Oh,
technically, I'm the co-commentator, but you're talking about Todd Grisham.
Yeah, the guy that the UK guy.
Oh, Ade Oladipo.
Yes. Controversy. Dude, the way he's... Controversy. Dude, the way I've been using that, dude. The way he says controversy.
That's slick, huh? That's slick.
Controversy. I was like, that's fire.
That is slick, bro. Controversy. That's slick. That's clean.
You got a way about
but yes,
words,
the controversy in this fight was the big push. And that's the end of the card, but I do want to go back and show you one more thing. Probably the highlight of the night, to be fair. And we'll just wrap it up with this. An amazing card. Everything was great. The main event delivered. I want to see the rematch. I think both guys, that makes sense for them to do it next. Maybe in January. Maybe not. We'll see what Dean wants to do. He is the champ. But the perfect way to end this video and the perfect way to end this entire thing was talking about the face-to-face that happened before the main event between KSI and Dylan Dennis. So,
wait, where's the? Wait,
I got the mic. Look, I got the mic. Look,
I know. I was just gonna bring out the mic. He's just like.
So, let me tell you how this happened. I think we should probably make this our own video too. Fuck it, we'll do that. So there is the main event. It is what it is. Another amazing card for Misfits and DAZN X Series number 3. You guys tell us who was your favorite fight. What happens for all these fighters next? Comment down below, and I guess we'll find out.